So we have here in week 9, we'll go over some of the energy systems now, and we'll talk about what the supplemental resources are. So you have NSCA for athletes. This is a really good guide if you're going into strength and conditioning, or if you're going to be a strength and conditioning coach at the university level. They're going to ask you to get your CSCS, which is from the NSCA. So the NSCA is the National Strength and Conditioning Association. So most of the certifications for strength and conditioning coaches that occur in collegiate sports occur through the NSCA. NSCA will provide you with NSCA personal training certification. So if you want to be a personal trainer, they have certifications. And then they have the CSCS, the Certified Strength and Conditioning Coach, which is CSCC, Certified Strength and Conditioning Coach, yes, CSCC. And that is basically a certification that will allow you to train with collegiate athletes. So if you were to be a strength and conditioning coach here at this university, you'd have to have a CSCS. Now CS or CSCC. So this is a strength and conditioning certification program. And this is for high school athletes. So this gives you the entire program, starting from the scratch. Chapter 1, what is expertise, increase safety awareness, develop your abilities to supervise strength training and conditioning activities, an overview of strength training and conditioning, principles of training, overview of energy systems. So that's something that we're going over. How do we organize training, training design terminology, SAID principles, so specific adaptations to imposed demands. So you're trying to impose demands specifically on tissue. How do you go about that process? What is your plan? So you have annual plans. You have macro cycles, which is the big kind of plan. Mesocycle is like a medium or a smaller size, and microcycle is the day-to-day. And then you have different programs, different program designs, warm-ups, stretching, components of warm-ups, stretching warm-ups, and they have all the pictures that you could ask for. So here's our energy system that we've been talking about, and this is basically what is really the most important when designing programs. We're going to realize that we're training primarily in the anaerobic energy system. So we're using mainly ATP, PC, and also glycogen. You're not going to find a lot of sports that are going to be super high endurance unless it's a super high endurance sport like cycling or rowing or running or biking or something like that. Most of our team sports are going to be anaerobic. You run for 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and then you walk around for 10 or 20 seconds, right? You're not running the entire time when you're on a soccer field because you'd be wasting energy, right? So you're actually conserving that glycogen, that ATP store when you're playing sports to produce that power. If you were just to run the entire time on the field, you'd be wasting energy. So that's why when we talk about the energy systems, and what you hopefully learned through that podcast is that there's 3 different main types, right? So you have your short-term energy system, which is your fast and slow, or you have your first immediate energy system, which is ATP PC system. So that's about 10 to 12 seconds. So if I were to jump as high as I can and keep jumping as high as I can, in about 12 seconds, I'm gonna run out of the ATP PC cycle. And then I'm gonna start running into glycolysis. So from 12 seconds to about 60 seconds into work, I'm mainly working in that glycolysis, glycogen, the muscle, the actual muscle. Now that's where if you don't have carbs stored in your muscles locally, especially in the bigger muscles, if you're not eating carbs, you're not gonna have as much energy as if those were stored, okay? So you go into glycolysis, and now if it's long-term energy, so if you're doing something for 3 minutes and you're continuous, like swimming, cycling, running, hiking, right? Then we're in our aerobic zone. So then we would train aerobically. But we know that if you're teaching tennis, if you're teaching lacrosse, you're not going to be primarily getting your athletes to be aerobically trained. You need them to be anaerobically trained. They need to have high power output, high speed, right? The best athletes in hockey are the fastest ones, the most powerful, biggest hits, biggest slap shots. You can never have enough power or speed in your sport, right? You're never going to be concerned with oh, I don't think I have enough speed. Well, there's going to be athletes that are going to be a lot faster than you, and you need to be able to develop that speed. How do you train for speed? Is it getting under a barbell and squatting, or is it actually running and sprinting? And in functional training, what we're going to talk about today is that it's more about training speed for speed. So instead of getting under a bar and actually squatting with a barbell on our back and maybe causing serious risk to our spine, we should be actually sprinting, right? We should be focusing on power, maybe a med ball explosive exercise. Maybe it's a split stance squat. And we're going to talk about the reason why that is important in the future. So this whole guide gives you the performance of pyramid. Okay, goes over all the periodization that you need, okay, for athletic preparedness. Here is your periodization, which is, or what this is going to help you determine how many reps you should train. So strength, so about 6 reps to about 12 reps, okay, all the way to into 20 when you're talking about strength goal. So if you're trying to gain hypertrophy, okay, you want to train in the power or strength phases. So in the repetitions under 12, okay. Hypertrophy will be mainly stored into the 12 reps or under. Muscular endurance is going to go all the way to about 20 reps. So if you're looking for muscular endurance, you're thinking 20 reps. If you're thinking strength, if you're thinking power, look at power is only 1 to 5 reps, okay? So power is mainly 1 to 5 reps. Hypertrophy, 1 to 12 reps. Muscular endurance, 1 to 20 reps, okay? So strength and power, you're not going to be performing as many reps to gain strength, to gain power, okay? In order to move heavy loads, you have to use your ATP-CP system. We know that's only about 12 seconds, okay? So you're not going to be able to perform 15, 10 reps if you're going to be using maximal output, okay? So you can look at this on your own. It goes over all the exercises, including ones that we'll talk about in Mike Boyle's strength and conditioning. He would not even recommend the barbell back squat. He would take this off of his list. So if you're a certified functional training coach, you wouldn't teach the back squat. But in the NSCA, they probably would teach the back squat. So you're going to see that there's different debates on what strength coaches think about certain exercises, and you're going to have certain strength coaches that are going to be very, very opinionated on what you should and shouldn't do. And now you're going to make your own opinions based on hopefully science and research, but you're going to get both views from me. So they will teach the back squat. They're also going to give you some good safety techniques for all the different exercises, but this would be more in line for football, baseball, wrestling. But again, team sports definitely would be involved. Soccer, hockey, lacrosse, tennis will be going through all these types of programs. And they have plyometric programs. They even have week programs for you as well. So this could be beneficial if you were to train collegiate programs. But again, it doesn't mean that you have to perform all those exercises. It just means that that's what that certification recommends. Okay, so that's the NSCA, and I wanted to just kind of talk about them because we're going to now talk about the week 10 content, which is basically talking about Michael Boyle and who he is and the way he trains his athletes and his background and experience. Now, you have different training certification processes. So we have NASM, we have NSCF, we have NSCA. You have all these different types of certification programs that certify you to be a personal trainer and a strength coach. But for the collegiate experience or for collegiate athletes, they are going to look for the CSCC certification because that is in line with the NCAA. So since that's aligned, that's usually their first thing on the job application. Now, if you also are certified functional strength coach from Michael Boyle, that would be a good add-on to your CSCC. So if you're a phys ed teacher, you don't have to get CSCC. I would recommend the Certified Functional Training Coach. But if you're at the college, if you're working with college athletes, then you probably have to go that other route. So we're going to go ahead and